What if everything you learned about early humans was wrong? Not slightly wrong, completely wrong. Here's what your history teacher never told you. Our ancient ancestors, the ones dragging mammoths, sleeping in caves, making tools from stone, actually worked less than you do right now. Not a little less, a lot less. We're talking 4, maybe 5 hours a day. Then what? They painted masterpieces on cave walls. They made elaborate jewelry from shells they carried for miles. They carved flutes from bone and played music together under the stars. The image of desperate grunting cavemen barely surviving moment to moment. It's a myth, a complete and total myth, and the real story is so much more human. Today we're going back 300,000 years to find out what early humans actually did all day. And by the end of this video, you're going to see yourself differently, because their story is your story. Let's go. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer communities, groups like the Hadza of Tanzania and Aboriginal communities of Australia, found something that completely shocked them. These people worked an average of just 4 to 5 hours per day to meet all of their food, shelter, and survival needs. That's it. The rest of their time, social connection, rest, play, creativity, community, fun. Anthropologist Marshall Solins famously called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society, not because they had material wealth, but because they had something far more valuable: time. More free time, in fact, than the average person sitting in an office in 2025. The people we call primitive had better work-life balance than most of us today. So what did they do with all that time? Let me take you to southern France. 1994. Explorers squeeze through a narrow passage deep in the earth and discover Chauvet Cave. On the walls, paintings, but not crude scribbles you'd expect. Horses rendered with perfect anatomical detail. Lions mid-stride, muscles rippling. Rhinoceroses drawn with perspective, shading, and movement, art that would impress a trained painter today. Made 30,000 years ago, by firelight. Hundreds of meters deep inside a cave. Someone chose to go there. Someone planned this. Gathered their materials, found their light source, crawled through narrow passages, and spent hours, maybe days, creating something beautiful in the dark. Not for food, not for warmth, not for survival, for art, for meaning, for the pure human need to create. Nearly 350 caves across France and Spain contain prehistoric art. The oldest known cave painting, a wild pig in Indonesia, is over 45,500 years old. But the music might be even more extraordinary. 2008. A cave in southern Germany. Researchers carefully sifting through sediment find fragments of something unusual. A flute, carved from the hollow bone of a griffon vulture, 40,000 years old. 5 finger holes perfectly, deliberately spaced. A real, playable musical instrument. When analyzed, it could produce notes similar to a modern pentatonic scale, the same scale used in folk music, blues, and rock today. Whoever made this understood +1 in harmony and spent weeks crafting it. Not for hunting, not for defense, for music. By 43,000 years ago, there was already a tradition of music making passed down through generations. Before writing, before civilization, the music came first. Now let me completely destroy whatever image you still have of the primitive caveman. 100,000 years ago. Blombos Cave, South Africa. Archaeologists find tiny seashells, each carefully pierced with a stone tool to be strung as jewelry. But the nearest coastline was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked 40 kilometers round trip just for the right shells. Then spent hours drilling perfect holes through each one. Not for food, not for warmth, to look good. Vanity is not a modern invention. The desire to express yourself is at least 100,000 years old. These people were also cooking with real skill. When researchers analyzed the stomach of Otzi, a 5,300-year-old frozen mummy found in the Alps, they found dried, cured meat. A kind of prehistoric prosciutto, prepared, seasoned, enjoyed. In Jordan, 14,400-year-old flatbread was found in an ancient fireplace made before farming was even invented. They weren't just surviving, they were living. Here's what should blow your mind. Their brains were identical to yours. Same size, same structure, same capacity. The person who painted those horses in Chauvet Cave 30,000 years ago, raised in today's world, could become a surgeon, a composer, a scientist. The raw intelligence was always there. What changed isn't us. What changed is the world around us. We didn't become human when we learned to hunt. We became human when we learned to create. 300,000 years of evidence says so. Smash subscribe for more every week. See you in the next one, excited.